All right, we are live. All right, everybody, welcome to our weekly Law of Attraction Roundtable discussion. So I am your host today, Kevin Young, and my wife, Suzanne, is on the line there, and she'll be co-hosting
Hello.
with me. We own Personal Success Programs, which is a transformational coaching and training company located in Novi, Michigan. And everything that we do, workshops, webinars, coaching programs, all based in the Law of Attraction. So we're hosting these calls as a way to build more understanding around the basics of Law of Attraction and kind of expand the global community at large. Because we feel that the more people understand this naturally occurring law at the core, the better things are going to be for everybody on the planet. So we're glad that you guys want to be part of our global community and have fun here. So a little bit of housekeeping. Just relax and be comfortable. There's no pressure here. We're very casual. If you've been to any of our workshops, you know that we are relaxed, and questions anytime. If you want to participate, just jump right in. It'll be a Q&A format, so basically when we're ready to go, I'll just ask for people to, if you're online, to just click your little raise hand button on your screen, and if you're on the phone, then you can just speak up and say your name, and then we'll sort it all out and get everybody in. So we'll be going about an hour today, or until all the questions are answered. When you're online, please try to eliminate the background distractions or noise, and if you're not actively speaking, you can click your little mute button and stay muted. And if you're on a phone, you probably have a mute button on that. The workshop is being recorded. It'll be available for playback for those of you guys who are on the line here. There'll be an email that goes out automatically tomorrow, and it'll have a link to the recording, so in case you want to play it back, if you missed something, want to take some notes, that all is fine. Most importantly, let's have some fun here. This is Law of Attraction is not serious stuff. It's about having a good life and creating the life that you want, finding your own joy and your own path, and then pursuing it. And we're all on the journey together here. In the future, we'll be holding calls again on Mondays at 7 o'clock. As long as we have an audience and are having fun, we will keep doing these. For more information about our company, Personal Success Programs, just go to Personal Success Programs with an S at the end, .com, or you can call us at 248-349-6225. So I think that is everything. Anybody has any questions before we get started? Doesn't look like it. All right, so wonderful. Who would like to be first? Nancy, since you're on the phone, did you want to jump in and go first?
No
pressure if not.
I guess not.
All right, good for you. All right, guys, so who wants to stick their hand up first here?
Do we have a specific topic, or are we just asking whatever?
No, not. We haven't decided to do topics yet. We might at some point. Now, this is just any general application of Law of Attraction, understanding you want to have, how to apply it to a life situation, personal situation, business. Yeah, anything that comes to your mind that has to do with Law of Attraction. So it looks like we have a hand up here. Sherry looks like she wants to go first. All right, Sherry, you are live. Go ahead.
Thanks so much, Kevin and Suzanne. I really appreciate you guys doing these roundtables. I have a question you had alluded to in your email to everyone regarding the workshop tonight. How do you attract the perfect income source I've just recently been separated from my previous employer, and I don't want to go back into that, so I'm trying to attract the perfect source of income.
Well, first of all, congratulations. When I lost my first job in 1983, that was the first thing that my longtime racquetball partner and basically mentor for 30-some years said to me. He shook my hand and said, "Congratulations, welcome to the next step in your life." And so, as I think I mentioned in an email, the good news is that the Law of Attraction couldn't keep you in that job because it was too negative for the expansion that you're going through. So that's how it works, kind of in general. Law of attraction is always matching us, the circumstances around us, to who we're being. And I known you for a while, Sherry, and I know you're somebody who works on herself regularly to improve her vibration, her point of attraction. And so you simply, the universe has to keep molding itself around you. So that's the first good news. In terms of an income source, sometimes, just this is my personal experience, because I've gone through that a lot in my life, and it wasn't until I got into the coaching and training that things started to flow. And even then, sometimes it can be a little bumpy when you get focused on the money aspect of it. So Law of Attraction simply says that like attracts like. So if you want something that's rewarding, sometimes then it's helpful to identify in your mind what it is you love to do. So what comes to mind when I say, if you could have any job, what would it be, or any activity?
Well, I like helping people succeed.
I get that from you. Yes.
Um,
Yeah, and then tell me more about that. Tell me what's the most exciting part about that.
Hold on just one second.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So what?
The most exciting part about seeing people succeed
Yeah.
is, I don't know, it's kind of like,
Any background noise there. Owen, I'm going to mute you. There we go. Go ahead.
it's kind of like you just get to see their personal development and to see them grow into what you perceive as their capability that they're unable to see.
Ah, right. And how does it feel when they have that aha moment?
It feels good. It's kind of like, finding lost treasure. uh, it's like, you had it in you all along. You just had to believe in yourself enough to find it.
Ah, right. So how important do you think that is to the person finding their lost treasure that they've never known about their whole lives?
Oh, I think it's really important because I think that people who are in that situation know sort of in the back of their brain, like I know there's something there that I'm capable of doing that's beyond where I'm at right now. I just don't know how to get there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think it's very important that they have that opportunity to learn and explore and grow into what what they just sort of have a hint at in the
Right.
back of their brain, or have a desire or a goal or a dream or
Sure.
whatever word you want to choose to put there. But yeah, I think it's really important to that person, and to the coach or support person. You just sort of get to revel in that exploration and
There you go.
development.
Yeah. So how cool is that? And you've already found an activity, in general terms at least, of something that really lights you up. We
Hmm.
can all can feel that energy, and think of the value that you're bringing just by doing that, just by being who you are. So do you think that's worth money to somebody?
I do, yeah. Yeah. The coaching is a big business. There are lots of people who want to, improve one, if not all aspects of their life. So, yeah, I certainly think that there's money there. My problem is that right now you know, I'm in that in-between stage where I can't really invest in myself to move forward in that coaching field, and I don't know that there's a coaching position out there that I could do because I'm not really trained in that. So it's
So I'm
like,
going to
how do you,
challenge it. I'm going to
huh?
challenge. I'm going to challenge your story. Is that
Okay.
okay? Because everything that all our beliefs are basically stories that we learned, right?
Right.
I mean, nobody was born with the story of success or failure. We learned it from our surroundings. So I'm going to challenge that story, and if I were assigning homework, if you were a coaching client, I would suggest that you consider rewriting the story the way you want it to be. And that's usually it's the opposite of the things we believe. So
Right.
there are people out there right now who want what I have. There's an audience already built in at exactly the level of my knowledge and abilities who are out there looking for me. Okay? And my experience and my wisdom and my natural gifts from being who I already am are valuable enough to them that if we interface, then they would have that awareness. And the reason I know that's true is because the way you're talking about having already experienced it with people. So there's already an audience out there for the talent level that you're at. So would you consider maybe just writing a fantasy story about yourself, about how successful you are already
Sure.
without needing to change? Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Sounds like a stretch a little bit.
Um, well, of course, because if I was there already, I wouldn't be at this roundtable.
All right, good, perfect. Then you're in exactly the right place. So I know you're one who takes on a challenge.
Right?
So that would be the first place to start if it were me. You get to pick, because we're already writing the story. Law of Attraction is making true the beliefs we've already had. So the now moment is actually a reflection of past beliefs. So to change the future, you have
Will you say that again? Could you just
sure,
repeat that real quick?
sure. The now moment is simply a reflection of past beliefs. Everything that has happened is happening right at this moment as a result of the beliefs and subsequent thoughts that we've been emanating up to this point. Because everything that's in our lives is a manifestation of what we've been thinking. So the now moment is actually old news. So to change the future, we have to start thinking differently now so that when the future arrives, it'll be the way we want it. So
Right.
it's just a different way of saying, okay, I've been thinking things that aren't serving me because I'm attracting things that I don't want. So what I'm going to change? I'm going to change my story. So the best place is to start in sort of a fantasy world where you start to paint the picture of the things that you want in your mind, kind of start to light them up and get the feeling behind it. This is the most important part. Step into the role of being that beautiful coach, that uplifter, and feel the feeling of that burst of energy that the client has. This is one of the things that helped me to move into coaching. and and you'll be surprised how quickly the opportunities will come up to actually coach people who actually are at the level that you're at. So this is good for everybody on the call when you want to manifest anything, is to simply decide how you want it to be and do not look at reality. Do not face the facts. Do not face the truth, because that again is a manifestation of your past thinking. And tell the story the way you want it to be and start to ease yourself into that flow. And as opportunities open up, step through the door. And eventually, before long, you'll have a few people who are wanting to work with you, and you can just start setting a price. And in the interim, if that's too far of a jump, start looking for a job that maybe has a caregiver or a communicator role in it, and that will act as a bridge so that you can move yourself into it. And one last little piece I want to give you, and then we'll move on here, and that is that when I started my coaching training some years ago, I also couldn't see spending the thousands of dollars just out of pocket to do it. And so somebody told me, why don't you just decide that you're going to get enough coaching clients to cover the cost of the coach training? I just went on a monthly plan. I think it took maybe 2 or 3 monthly clients pay me. I told them I'm just practicing on you, so you get a discount. And my clients paid for my coach training. So it was free for me. Plus I got to practice. So there's always a way if you want to be, if you're willing and want to jump in and because you've got the gift, Sherry. This is definitely one of your strengths. So the world needs more people like you.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
May I
Suzanne, did you have any?
interject?
Sure. And who is this?
This is Nancy.
Oh, hi, Nancy. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Hi. So Sherry, Kevin is my success coach, and he told me to do things that bring me joy, and that will also bring me money. And so I've been doing a little more writing because that brings me joy. And I mentioned at the gym that I'm a writer, and I was invited to a writing course with professional writers that I'm going to this Thursday.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Yay, Nancy.
Yay! Yes, so I just wanted to share that. Do what brings you joy. It really works.
Yeah, boy, it does it ever. And Nancy is living proof. She's knocked it out of the park on a number of occasions by simply following that rule and doing the work on herself. Thanks for sharing that, Nancy.
Yes, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Suze, did you have anything to add before we move to the next question?
Just that when Kevin got that idea to just start coaching, see if he could just begin coaching at a nominal fee, just to, it built up the momentum. I saw him light up more than I had, every week when he'd come back from a session or just talking on the phone. That momentum of that joy, just like Nancy said, that it brought both of them, he and the person he was working with, kept on building, and that's how he ended up then being able to, like you said, pay for the coaching course, which was so fun. So thanks, Nancy, for jumping in and sharing, that reminder that we just start doing things that bring us joy, and then it leads us towards the joy that we want. It brings it to us.
It's so simple. But where we fall down, and Suzanne and I are both plenty guilty of this as well, if there is such a thing as guilt.
We try not to.
Yeah, no. And that is that we don't do it long enough to build enough momentum before giving up or getting distracted. Law of Attraction is about energy momentum. It's just like the old analogy of the car rolling down the hill. If it's rolling down the wrong side of the hill, the more it gets going, the harder it is to stop and turn it. So you want to build enough momentum, point the car in the right direction, that is feeling good towards what you want to do, and then get it started, and just be persistent about feeling good about the thing that you're doing, and give Law of Attraction enough time to get a hold of it and start feeding it back to you, but then it's an exponential curve and things really take off. So we have, sure, you're welcome. Thanks for your question, Sherry. If you guys have a question, you want to raise your hand, click on the little raise hand button and get yourself in the queue. Nancy, are you ready to ask your question?
I guess I'm in an enormous state of transition now. Everything in my life is changing, and it's just very exciting. I know something big is coming. I just don't quite know what it is. So I have decided to just wait and see, let it flow, and everything seems to be falling into the right place now that I've let go of trying to control things.
Wow. And
It's not really a question, it's more
I was going to say, you got it figured out.
I think I do.
And I love that you get the feeling of something big, but you don't have to know what it is. You're letting yourself feel it, which is so much fun, and allowing it to show up, because it will come. And surprise, it's wonderful when you get that concept and then let the universe surprise you in so many wonderful, delightful ways, just like you starting to write because it brought you joy, and now you're going to a writing, what is it, a writing class, or what is it?
It's a club.
A club, okay.
It's a club where they critique your work. Everybody critiques the other person's work.
Oh, okay, cool.
That is just so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got it figured out. That for those who are new to the Law of Attraction or newer to the Law of Attraction, the desires and the things that light us up are already known by the universe. Those are things that we've actually been creating all along our path to growing up. as we have the unwanted moments, the things that we don't want, we're creating the desires, and those literally become registered with the larger part of us, the universe, as we like to say. So it's already known, the things that would light us up the most, things that we don't even know about yet, that we've been creating incrementally, are already known, and law of attraction is acting on them and trying to bring them to us. So as Nancy so beautifully demonstrated there, or is demonstrating, then just getting out of the way and not blocking it by doubting beliefs or negative energy, and learning to let it go and get in the moment, allows it to start to come to us, and allows us to receive the impulses to go in the direction of the things that will light us up. It's really a magical thing as it starts to unfold. So it's really a lot easier than most of us make it out to be, or that we've been taught. So who is next? Oh, looks like we got a hand up here. Sherman, go ahead and jump right in.
Hey, this is to piggyback off Nancy's comment. Nancy, I'm also in a transitory phase of my life too, and it's enlightening, but kind of scary in a good way, because the possibilities I feel like are endless now. But I was talking to Kevin and Suzanne beforehand, and I was just saying how I've been clearing a lot of subconscious negativity as of late. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin and Suzanne, but I feel like in order to become aligned in law of attraction, my conscious thoughts and my subconscious thoughts need to be aligned.
That's close. That's close. We would modify it slightly by saying not so much subconscious, but and that's might be a close enough analogy. Subconscious physically doesn't actually matter that much, because there's not much of a point of attraction, but it's more of the superconscious, the inner being matching up the broader part of us, which already has the knowing of what we want, and getting our thoughts that we're thinking in our head into alignment. So you're right on track there, Sherman. You're picking this stuff. And for those of you who don't know Sherman, he's been to our Billionaires Club, but he's fairly new to this, and I got to say, this young man's picked this stuff up like lightning. I mean, you're living the dream, my friend. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So yeah, it's about choosing thoughts based on how they feel, because the emotions are the guidance system. And this is for everybody on the call. You have the thoughts are actually bursts of energy. They have frequencies that come out of us, and then we also have this sort of a true north, what we call the inner being, or the real us, that has a broader view, that already knows the path to everything. And so our job is to get into some harmony with it, so that we can then receive the guidance through us. And that's those little impulses that light you up. And you can feel when you have them. And if you take one of those impulses, there's always going to be something on the other side of it that is a connection towards one of the things that you want. It becomes a training process of taking time to feel good, letting go of stress and worry, whatever it takes, meditation, walking in the park. There's a million ways to do it. And getting quiet enough so that you start to receive the guidance, and then acting on it. And once you do that and things start to show up, you kind of close the loop on yourself, and to where what you're thinking and feeling, and then being guided towards, and what shows up in your life, all become a match, and now you're the creator of your reality. And life doesn't get much better than that. Suze, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, just a question for Sherman. When you were saying you'd been working on clearing a lot of your subconscious, I guess, negative thoughts, and so when you say that, what did you mean exactly? Like when you had ideas that came into your head that you remembered that didn't feel good, you were acknowledging that and letting them go, or what did you mean?
Addressing them. For example, I was going to ask this question actually. A mentor I'm actually working with currently, he made, hold on one second, I'm sorry. A mentor I'm working with, he made a comment that really I perceived as insulting, and kind of, I perceived it as like affecting me in a negative way. But as of today, I was trying to perceive it in a more optimistic manner, right? And lately, I've been holding like a grudge. And I feel like, and I've done this in my past, and I feel like that's been my self-sabotage that I've activated. And these grudges, I feel like it's my ego interfering with my potential. And I'm really trying to sidestep all of that. I am sidestepping all that and being aware of it and looking at things from a different perspective out of self-love for myself. And I know this gentleman loves me too, and he's stated it, and I know he means the best for me, and he means well for me, and he wants me to become a better person by letting go of all these things that are holding me back. And it's just a process I'm going. I don't know if that really answers your question there, Suzanne.
No, that was totally helped me understand what you were thinking about.
That's brilliant, Sherman. See, you're figuring it out so quickly. That is the work. You take the hit, as we say. So that is something makes you not feel good. And hey, we got families, we got people around us. So there's always somebody to press our buttons, but they are our buttons. And most people won't own that. They move into victim mode, and I lived most of my life in victim mode. Took a big old slap physically in the head before I had to start turning that around. So it's not that we don't get the negative hit or feel bad or hurt or angry or whatever. It's what do we do about it once we recover our senses about it. And so you're doing it. It's just a matter of doing that and then choosing a better way to look, the broader view. What you did, and what I love so much about this, is that you took what we call the source view, or the inner being view. You pulled back enough to where you could see it from a different perspective. And that's what the inner being, the broader part of us, always sees, and that's why it loves everybody and everything. There's no judgment at the source non-physical level, because there's nothing going wrong. There's never anything that's harmful or hurtful or fearful at that level. And when we see through the eyes of source, we are seeing through the eyes of love. And so you took yourself into that place. So it's just as simple as following what feels good when you get your brain back, when you get you recover from the hit, and do something, because the next time it won't be as bad, because you released the really deep grip on that one subject. It'll come back a little bit possibly, but if you just keep doing that, just keep releasing, before long there's nothing that can press your buttons, and you become bulletproof and live a joyous life. Great example for everybody on the call.
Yeah, I love that sentence, your ego interfering with your potential. Wow, that is powerful. That's something, that is definitely the broader perspective. That source, looking from the eyes of source, viewing it as if it wasn't you. You were watching just your ego kind of get self-defensive and all of that. So that was excellent.
Good job. So who else has a question? Go ahead and click your hand button, or if you're on the phone, just go ahead and speak up, say your name, and just go ahead and start talking. We got plenty of time here, and there are no wrong questions. Every question is valuable to the others on the call and to us. So go ahead and jump right in there. I see a hand going up there. Let me unmute you, Ellen. And there was some background noise, so I muted you, and I'm unmuting you now. Yeah. Ellen, you are on the phone. Go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, when we're done, you'll have to mute me again, because I have a little one running around the house somewhere.
Okay.
So I don't know that you're well aware. I know that people online are not well aware that I am always struggling. I've been able to manifest, a house, moving, my trip to Ireland, but I've always had the problem with manifesting my career. And so what I've recently been doing, which is pretty interesting, I'm just trying it out, is that knowing you and Suzanne for quite a long time and seeing the growth that you guys have come with, the whole business, and changing into, branching into different categories of your business with your classes and stuff. And it's just like every time I think of you guys, I just have a really good feeling. So And
Oh,
that's what I
thank you.
think I'm lacking, is having that good feeling, you know, of success. And so I'm using you guys again.
All
But
right. We're here for you.
I have to have that, you know, to, I could sit here and tell 100 people, you know, that, hey, I know these two people, and, you know, they're like really successful in doing this coaching and these teaching classes. And and unless I really like feel the feeling that I get from knowing you guys from the beginning, and then, you know, because it's just, I know it's got to be a great feeling for you guys, but it's a really great feeling for me to I feel like I was part of that in a way, you know. I mean, I was
You
one of your
were.
first couple
You
of
were,
students.
Ellen.
You were, Ellen.
Yeah, thanks so
So
much. Good to hear you.
so I'm using that feeling that I get from the growth of your guys' business, and just, you know, how you've branched out and you haven't given up, and you've always gained from some part of it, you know. And I'm using that to try to help me be able to see that, or feel that it's possible to be where I want to be in life.
Well stated. And you're right
Yeah.
on track. So if you had a question, what do you think the question would be?
I guess my question would be, why I keep fighting what I truly feel my passion is.
And
Mm.
what's that?
Um, when I think of coaching, and I use it in my everyday life, with friends and patients, when I feel, you know, that's it's I feel that that's what I should be doing. Um, but I keep, for whatever reason, fighting myself on, and you know, some of it might be the money, um, but I'm just not sure. I haven't really been able to figure it out. So I guess that would be my question: is that, you know, this has been going on for a couple of years now, and I'm no further than I was a couple of years ago with not putting forth the effort.
Hmm. So you say you're no farther along, but I would respectfully disagree a little bit. I think you've grown a lot as a person. You've learned a lot. You've learned what you don't want, and that counts just as much as doing what you do want.
Yeah,
And all that's brought you to this question on this call. And you found out about this call, you lined it up, and here you are. So good for you. It's all good progress.
thanks.
Yeah, so if you were to throw off the beliefs temporarily, like we were doing earlier with Sherry, and notice, guys, how this call has developed a theme of its own. It's all been about career.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Law of Attraction. That's how she works. You guys
Yeah.
just proved the laws of the universe to yourselves. It doesn't mean everybody's going to have a question about that, but there tends to always be a core energy when people get together in our workshops anyway. So let's say if you could throw off the chains of the beliefs, the limiting beliefs, I don't have enough money, maybe I don't have the time, or whatever the things are that are coming up for you, and just put yourself in the future temporarily. And you're doing what lights you up, and where you know you're actually bringing the value that is Ellen to others because they're lighting up. So describe that a little bit for us, if you don't mind.
Sure. It's a it's a very unbelievable feeling. It's like there's not enough money that could buy that feeling. You know, it's just an
Ah,
actual it's an actual high of some sort. You know, that when when I'm feeling that, there's just nothing that could take me down. You know, I feel, you know, but then, you know, there's always that little thought in the back of your head going, "Bah,
right,
drop it," you know.
but that thought doesn't count right now.
Okay. So yeah, I think that I have a problem going further. Like when I'm thinking of being successful and um, being a coach, I I can't, like, if I try to go any further, then I start to lose that feeling. So when I'm just thinking of the actual doing it, not like the actual getting the business, or, you know, the advertisement. If I'm just actually thinking of having clients and just, you know, helping them get where they want to be in life, I could stay there forever. But if I try to take it a little further, then I tend to lose that whole get high feeling of success and, just being the happiest that,
What's the step that causes it to go away?
how to get there. Like the
You're
whole.
already there somewhat, right? You're already
Right.
doing this with people, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I think it actually being in concrete, I guess, maybe, like to actually make it permanent as a business or, as a career.
So does it sound like the jump from what you're doing right now for a living into that was too big of a jump?
Yeah, even though I don't tend to do it full time right away, like I know that I gradually want to do it, but the actual jump from going to doing what I'm doing and then actually making it a little bigger or the next step, I just can't find any in between steps. It's just like that you just got to go. And I'm having a really hard time with that.
It's okay to build a bridge. Nobody says you got to jump out of the airplane without a parachute.
Yeah.
So
I hope not.
So that is how I started my career. I still was full-time with IT, and I started taking the night classes. But before I even I took my first class, it was so strong in me that I was having breakfast with my mentor I was just telling you about earlier, and I knew that I had to be a coach. I knew somebody who had introduced me to coaching some months earlier, and there was a waitress which we had known for some time, my friend and I, and she's really sharp lady, and I happened to be in there on my own one morning. I think Suzanne was off at a networking group, and she came over, and I just felt the coaching questions come out of me, and it wasn't a minute of just asking her a couple of questions, and she started crying. So she was ready to release. So Law of Attraction brought us together. Right? It never makes a mistake. And so I had the opportunity to ask her a few questions, and I said, how would you like to just go somewhere else and get some coffee, and we can just talk? I said, I'm starting out as coaching. I could use the practice, if you don't mind. And boom, she turned into a coaching client. She was my first one. She was free because I didn't want to charge because I was practicing. That's what I told her. In 3 months, her life changed dramatically. And it's not that I was a fantastic coach, but I was being myself. I was in my authentic mode, and I was being guided by source. So the questions were coming out that she needed to hear, and the energy was just electric. And that gave me the confidence that I could do this. And then slowly I started attracting other people, and I would charge a little bit of money at first, and then I'd bring it up. So it became a bridge that I built over time to get to a coaching practice. And it ebbs and flows. People aren't supposed to stay with you forever as a coach. They stay for however long, and then they maybe start again. So, but there's nothing I would rather be doing than that or training. Those are my passions, and now I get to do them full time. But it took time for that to evolve. So what would be the next step that you might take that would inch you closer? Maybe it's a little scary, something that is uncomfortable, like charging money, for instance. That's hard for most of us. That could move you towards that direction.
Well, I did write it down because I like that whole idea that you had of, charging, and then that paid for your classes or some of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could do that because that's like I just do it for free for so long that I definitely like that though.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Can I share something with you that might help?
Yes.
Thank you. So Law of Attraction is always balancing energy flow. Right? You can't ever give more than you're actually receiving. You can't receive more than you're actually giving in terms of the flow of energy. And energy represents everything: money, coaching, everything. So by not allowing yourself to receive, you're actually limiting what you're giving out. You're restricting your ability to coach by not. And I'm not saying money has to be the way you receive energy. It can be appreciation. It can be gifts, it can be whatever, but money's as tangible as anything. It's just as real, and it represents appreciation. So by not taking by not charging clients, then you're actually restricting your ability to be the best coach you can be. So it's actually, plus you're actually devaluing your client. And this sounds a little bit harsh, but this is the way I ended up receiving it from my coach, is that you're actually believing in your client's disempowerment. You're saying, I don't believe in your ability to pay, if that's what's going on in your mind, and I'm just projecting here, so I could be wrong, okay? But and I've done this myself, and I still catch myself saying, oh, I don't know if they can afford my services. What I'm saying is, I don't believe in your genius. I don't believe in your talent. I don't believe in your ability to support yourself. And what good am I as a coach if I don't believe in my clients? So I've had to come back around and back around to that, keep reminding myself that whether or not they could afford it is none of my business. What I'm doing is I'm providing as much value as I possibly can, and I expect the energy to flow back as a result, because I got to keep it all in balance. I don't know if that helped. I didn't mean to be too harsh about it. What did you hear in that?
No, that was good, and it did make sense. Yeah, because when I pay for things, I usually feel pretty good about being able to pay for it. You know what I mean? I enjoy it a little more than when, not that I don't enjoy when people give me things, but knowing that I have got to the financial part where I can pay for it myself is always a good feeling as well. So I can definitely see that.
Yeah, you don't want to deprive your clients of that feeling.
Right.
Yeah. So what's one more step, and then we'll wrap up here with you. What's a step that you're willing to commit to yourself to take, even if it's a little uncomfortable, to move you a little bit closer to being that coach which you know you're good at, and I know you're good at.
Thanks. I don't know. There's the two things that stop me is, I guess, doing the charging the people that I do use and actually taking the course. So.
You say you're taking the course?
No, would be taking the course. There are the two things that I feel are in blocking me from getting where I want to be.
Okay.
So.
And so, what are you going to challenge yourself to do? It can be small. What's the smallest step you're willing to take?
I think I'm willing to. There's one person that I work with all the time. I think that I'd be willing to challenge to charge her. I think that after talking to you about it, I think that she'd get more out of it. That we've worked on several things in her life, and I think that she might get a better feeling out of it if she knows that.
There you go. Nice. And even if she doesn't, with that energy, the new energy that you just created right here in this moment, you'll attract somebody else who will. Okay. Nice job. Excellent. Thank you for being coachable, Ellen.
Yeah, good job.
Suzanne, do you have anything to add to that, Suze? And kind of how
No, it was excellent. Yeah, good job there, Ellen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've always seen great things in you, Ellen. Every time you show up, something magical happens. So can't wait to be one of your clients.
I do have a really quick little story. Maybe Ellen could relate. I was working, you know how I love working with groups of women, and I have a new program called Trusting Your Inner Guidance, 5 women in a room again. And the one woman has this amazing talent of she can put her hands very close, it's sort of like Reiki, and she puts this energy out, and it helps your aching pain. If you have like this one gal she bumped her head before she came into the class, and she said how she bumped her head and she showed a little sore. And this other lady said, well, here, can I help you? And she said, sure. So she put her hand up to her forehead and did whatever she does, gets into that zone where she's putting out some beautiful energy. And the other woman, her headache went away. And so then another lady said, oh my gosh, I have this sore elbow. And so anyway, she went on to give of herself, just because she never had charged ever for this ability that she has. She gave this little gift to anybody who said, oh wow, I've got a sore elbow. And by the end of the evening, the lady that had the sore head said, I want to give you this $20. This was remarkable, and it was really the hardest thing in the world for the other woman to accept the money, because it was a gift she had, and she just was used to giving it away, like you're used to giving away your beautiful coaching ability. It's just something you do naturally. It feels good. It lights you up. That's what this woman did. And the biggest, hugest step she said she got from that very first session was everybody supporting her and accepting the money. It was just one of her things. It was the hardest thing to accept it because she loved doing it so much she couldn't even imagine charging. So I don't know if that relates, but I mean, for her, it was huge. It was like a turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that.
It's the hardest thing for most of us because our self-worth gets all tangled up in money.
Yeah.
But something to work through for all of us.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're getting down there. We got about 15 minutes left. So who wants to ask another question? Go ahead and put your little hand button up, or if you're on the phone, go ahead and just...
The chat window, we have a comment there.
Yeah, that was Sherman. He was just reflecting back. By not allowing myself to receive in money appreciation, I'm restricting the flow of energy to attract. Perfectly stated, Sherman.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. It's always input equals output and output equals input. Can never get out of balance. All right, so who else has a question? We still have some people who haven't put their hands up yet. Oh, you got some time here. Go ahead.
It can be comments too.
Yeah, and if you just have something you want to say, yeah, you can, and you can even type it into the chat window if you'd rather not be online. That's okay as well.
Well, I can share my experience with taking money. When I first started my personal training business, when I would do my fitness evaluation and sales pitch, if people would hesitate about the money, I would drop my price. And then people were expecting me to drop my price, and I was expecting to be paid less. And what I finally learned to do, I then, instead of dropping my price, I say, I would really love for you to start with 36 sessions. Can you afford this amount of money? And if they hesitate, I say, how about 24 sessions? So instead of dropping the price of my service, I'm dropping the number of sessions. And what I have found is that some of my clients have stayed with me for 5 years. That if I can get them in for 5 sessions or 10 sessions, they generally will sign up again. So, cool. But I'm keeping my price because I value what I do.
Oh, there, you said it, right? And we felt that in your energy, Nancy.
Yeah, just hear that confidence in your knowing. Love that.
And that's what a great example of how to market yourself and provide a variety of options for clients so that you can, because there are some people who just want a couple of sessions here and there, and the other people who are, I had one client sign up just less than 2 weeks ago, and she wanted it full on. She wants every single week without fail because she is so ready to make a change. So that's good for everybody who's on the line here, who's considering a career change or enhancing your career, is consider giving your clients some options. Give them the full on, everything you got option. Give them the less option, and give them the minimal option. And what you'll find, at least I've discovered this myself, is that often people will pick the middle option, or they'll pick the most popular option. If you just tell them this is the most popular option, this is the one that works, because they want people want to work with us. Inherently, if they're sitting across from us, unless you handcuff them to the chair, they want to be there. Law of Attraction brought them there for a reason. So, but they want to be convinced. They want their what's in the back of their mind to be validated and brought forward. And if it's not the right fit, you'll know it. And there's nobody wants to push anybody. But if they're sitting across from you and you're having a good conversation, then there's something there. So it's actually on us to help them to see the value that they're going to get and give them the options. So I love that, Nancy. That was really good.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Looks like we have a hand up from Sherry here. Sherry, you're muted right now. You're welcome to come online, ask your question, or jump in.
Yeah, hi. So as we're having this conversation about careers and such, one of those I don't know what the opposite of an aha is, but
Oh, crap.
what's that?
No crap.
Uh-oh, yeah, uh-oh, yeah. So the uh-oh came up, like, so one of my challenges, and I know this is my story, this is my perception, but it has historically proven itself to be a challenge. So I have repeat evidence of it. So I have difficulty with the technology that exists in the world today, marketing myself. So
say more about that.
So like you had this really nice presentation that I'm looking at through Citrix Online, and I would have to go and learn how to do that.
Why is that?
As well as, you know, other marketing techniques and how to price my services and how to, you know, how to establish an email basis of customers and clients and things like that. So all of that just creates this big overwhelm button that goes off in my head.
Thank you for bringing that up. And thanks for being transparent about that. That's a hard thing to bring forth, and particularly in a group. And if it helps any, you're not alone. In fact, that's a very common story in the coaching industry. They even have classes at Coach U where I took my courses about how to start the business. I mean, they actually teach you some of the mechanics because it's not common practice, and more even than that is that often people who are wired as coaches or different creative types and so forth aren't wired for technology. It's just the brain type isn't the same. I happen to come from the technology background, so I'm more wired in that respect. But and I actually went the other direction. I got like, oh, I had to have the email services, and I had to have this thing and that thing, and I knew how to do PowerPoint, so I perfected all that. And you know what? None of it was important because I did all that before I really understood Law of Attraction. Law of Attraction brings you the clients, and Law of Attraction is responding to your beliefs, your degree of alignment, and the path for the clients to show up will be revealed to you and determined by the universe as the path of least resistance based on where your own mind is at. And so I had to convince myself that I needed all these pieces before I realized I really didn't need all these pieces. Our website is 8 years old and it's horrific. And we're actually finally getting it redesigned, but we've never gotten any business except maybe once from the website.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it was a place to put our workshops, and we can point people and say, okay, there's where the workshop description is. But you can do that on Facebook now for free. You can create a fan page for yourself and put some stuff on there, put workshops. You can even have sign-up buttons. There's all sorts of stuff, and it's all free. And it doesn't take a lot to do that. So but I hear what you're saying. It's easy to look around and say, well, they're doing it this way and they're doing it that way, so I have to do it that way. And I'm going to tell you right now, anything that doesn't feel good isn't the right path for you in the moment. As I've gotten into this, and now that we're doing it full time, I like the creative aspect of creating a PowerPoint presentation. I discovered earlier on that I actually love figuring out ways to help people understand things. It's one of my gifts, and it's one of my joys. So I actually now am encouraged and excited to get into the next PowerPoint presentation because I can figure out another way to bring something to the client, another way of explaining something that didn't necessarily that I didn't have before, and so it's fun, and I'm being led by my passion, by my excitement. And email was somewhat similar. It's not as fun, but I went through it and found positive ways to look at things, and lo and behold, we attracted Katie Jimerson to our company, and she works part-time out of her home, and she does our emails for us. And she's happy to be making some money because she has a hard time getting out. Some of you know her from the Billionaires Club. And she loves working with this material. So Law of Attraction brought us together. It's affordable for us, and she's thrilled to be doing some work. So as long as you can get into the place of just keeping focused on what lights you up and just move gently and slowly in that direction and start building the bridges, the pieces will actually come in automatically that will work for you. So really, you don't need anything other than just a good attitude, and Law of Attraction will do all the rest. Does that help, Sherry?
Kevin, do you mind if I make a comment?
Oh, sure, Sherman, go ahead.
Yeah, Sherry, I think, and I'm guilty of this, and if you could answer this question, I think you suffer from, not suffer, but are plagued by analysis paralysis. So you have like all these different components coming at you at one time, and it's like email, I got to set this website up, and then pretty soon you're like, you know what, just screw it, because this is a lot of work. I don't know if that's how you feel sometimes, Sherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I've set up a website, and you know, like Kevin says, unless you're, it was a blogging website, and unless you're really into it, unless it's something that you really enjoy, it's something that you're going to ignore.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you
Well, if I could share
know,
one more thing.
so it's hard.
Go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, keep in mind, I mean, you know, you don't have to do everything yourself. There are a lot of utilities, a lot of websites and such where you can delegate these tasks. For example, if you want to write this down, it's called Fiverr.com.
Yes,
you
we
can
use them too.
find like you can find people that will write a blog for you for like $5, and you know there are different creative aspects that you can ask other people to do, because there are a lot of things that I don't like to do personally, nor am I proficient at doing. But if I delegate that task to somebody else, that allows me to focus on something else that I am good at, that I can concentrate and put my energies towards.
So the
and
one,
then it doesn't.
Go ahead, Sherman. Go ahead and finish up.
No, yeah, that's, you know, that makes it easier. That allows you to chunk it down and incrementally, slowly create that bridge to connect everything, right? So you don't have to do everything yourself.
And thanks for that, Sherman. So yes, exactly. As long as you're doing what lights you up, then you can attract the resources. And that's the one thing I always want to put at the top of the heap, the top of the to-do list is, am I doing what excites me right now? And if you're not doing that, then the other things are not going to flow as easily. That you're simply limiting the universe's ability to bring you solutions. And there is no one path. Everybody's path is unique. And Sherry, for yours, if you like to write, it might be just doing a blog and sharing the real Sherry, what's going on in your life and the trials and tribulations and how you've gotten over them. That kind of stuff can be enough to bring clients. Or maybe it's just posting on Facebook. So just follow what you're feeling inspired to do every day, and just be selfish about following that path. And that's the hardest thing, at least in my life, is putting myself first and ahead of the to-do list. But I'm telling you, been through it now, and for me, that's been the secret. I had one hand up here from Ellen. Did you want to share something, Ellen, or did you have another question? Because we're about out of time here. So go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to share something really quick. Before I forget, I just wanted to let Sherry know that I belong to a lot of private Facebook groups, and friends of mine have started something similar to what Kevin was saying about doing the blog. Like Facebook, utilize it, because if you make your own little Facebook page and it's a private group of your blogs and just your friends are doing it, and then they'll have a friend and they'll be like, wow, you know, you would really benefit, or you might be interested in this. So they'll request for you to allow them to be a friend, and then it'll just expand from there, and you can move forward in any direction that you want to. But it's private, so not everybody on Facebook will see what you have to say. It'll be selected people.
Well, and that's the way the Billionaires Club is set up. And Sherry's actually our web person, our Facebook manager for the Facebook page. So yeah, Sherry, you could even make your own. But again, always putting at the very top of the list, does it feel good when I do this? Yeah. And Sherry, if you wanted to talk a little bit more offline with us, I'd be happy to chat with you, okay?
So the other thing that I just wanted to say is that when I was sitting here listening to everything, and I left work early today because I was sick, but I got a phone call, and I wasn't going to do this presentation with you guys because I was sick. And anyway, and it all winded up leaning towards coaching, and it's weird because a lot of times when we're busy in our life, we bypass what we're really supposed to see. So just real quick, I am a recovery coach and I volunteer. It's something, it was a class I took for free. I just recently was asked to take on a project at my job, which is talking about doing a whole type of health care, treating the whole body.
Wow.
And then I get a phone call today with coaching and then wanting to get in contact with veterans. So here we are talking about all this stuff, and ironically enough, as sick as I am, I still said I'm going to log on if I just listen, you know. And
And
it's
here
all
you
right
are, right in the
there.
middle of it, Ellen. Nice
I know.
job.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's all right there. It just took me to log on to talk to you guys to actually be able to put it all together.
Yeah.
And that's the piece I want to highlight as we wrap up here, Ellen. And what Ellen's doing is exactly what we're talking about. Even as she got herself sick, she followed the impulse. She said, what am I supposed to be doing? And something lit up in Ellen that said, I got to be on this call. And the more you can learn to not question your impulses, instead get the to-do list out of the way, just what do I feel like doing right now, and follow the impulse, and boom, she created this great value for herself on this call, and we all benefited by having her on the call, just like we benefited from all the rest of you guys. So that illustrates exactly what we're talking about. That's the golden nugget for today. So we're about out of time here, guys. This has been an excellent conversation. Thank you for bringing the powerful, positive beings to the call, and your willingness to be vulnerable and open, because that's where the good stuff comes up. So, any last comments before we shut down here, or you guys all starting to feel complete here?
Just wanted to thank you guys. As always, this was very powerful. So, always appreciate it. It's always great talking to you guys. So I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Sherman.
Likewise, Sherman.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming online.
Thank
Suze,
you
you have
all.
anything?
Yeah, questions and participating. Appreciate it. It wouldn't be anything without you guys.
So excellent. Thanks again for joining us for the Law of Attraction Roundtable on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want more information about personal success programs, you can come to the website, personalsuccessprograms.com, or you can call us at 248-349-6225. And again, I'm Kevin Young, and there's my lovely wife Suzanne here on the line, and we thank you for joining us tonight, and hopefully we'll see you sometime in the future. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Future.